Okay. Um, well, we are also from the south, in South America actually, and much less developed than South Africa. So I feel close, but we are not so developed as South Africa. Then what I'm going to talk today is international activities. We are a part of a university that the objective today is to present the international workshop that we have at ISALUD. ISALUD is a university, a private one, in Argentina, and we have 40 million people. The university has something like 5,000 students, and 500 of them are participate in these two management courses. The master course in health economics and management, and the master course in health system and social security. These are the two main courses. And we have been teaching these two courses for the last 20 years or so, and more or less the two of them account for 150 students every year. These are courses of 2 years long. And the academic activity is a workshop that we design every year, and we go to different countries in relation with the agreements that the university have with different countries. So in the last 5 years, we went 2 times to Spain, once to Barcelona and one to Madrid. This year we are going to Madrid. Then 2015 we went to Washington, and before that we went to Chile and to Rio de Janeiro. What I'm going to tell you today is the experience in order to show you the activities that we do during this workshop and the effect on the master course students of coming with us in a group of 40 people to a different system, a different health system. So I'm going to tell you about the 2016 experience, which was Barcelona, and 2015 experience, which was Washington. Well, this is what I told you before about the students, and I am the director of the master course in health economics and management. So actually with these two courses, these two master courses, we cover either health economics and management, and then on the other side we cover social security and public health. So when we went to Barcelona, the group was something about 45 students. I coordinated with other 2 assistant professors. And the logic underlying our trips or our journeys, our academic journeys, is to draw a sort of stakeholder map about the country that we are visiting. So what we try to do is to work with the different social sectors and actors. So in the case of Barcelona, we paid a visit to the authority of the health system, mainly to the Servei Català de Salut and the Cochrane collaboration, which had a sort of Spanish organization, which was the Ibero-American Cochrane collaboration. We also have a look to the health insurance system and agency from a macroeconomic point of view. So we talk with the people who are the coordinators of all the organizations that provide services. I don't know if you are familiar with the Catalan health system, but it's a very interesting system because the public sector contract out everything in all the country. Catalonia is 9 million people. For the state should be like the Veteran Health Administration in relation to scales, but it is a country. They consider themselves a country. Nowadays they are still under Spain, but probably in the future they will get as a country, independent. So the Union Catalana of Hospitals, which is this, is the association of all the hospitals that are the head of the of the group that provides services to the health system. Then they have one of the leading health evaluation of technology agency in all the country, which is called Agencia Evaluadora de Tecnologías de Salud. And the new point there is that they not only evaluate technologies, but also quality. That's why it's called AQUAS. The Q there is called for quality. And on the other side, from the microeconomics point of view, we have a look to two hospitals, the Hospital San Juan de Dios, San Jean de Deus, and then the Hospital de San Pablo y Santa Cruz. These are maximum complexity hospital. The first one is pediatric, and the second one is a general hospital. And finally, we went to the University of Pompeu Fabra, and we had some excellent conference from Guillem Lopez Casanova, which was one of the members of IHEA board, and Vicente Ortunrubio. These are the presentations. Casanova is like a sort of macroeconomics professor, and so he's talked about health system, access to healthcare and solidarity in Spain. And Ortunrubio is more half of it, half economics and half management. So he talks about the contribution to health economics and the management of the health sector. Then we have a presentation at the hospital, San Pau and Santa Creu. Then we have the people from the Cochrane collaboration. And finally, we went to a place called Tarragona, which is south from Barcelona. And it's very interesting because you see a network. You see the case of the network working there and see how the hospital of Tarragona connect with other places of primary healthcare. Well, these are the pictures. This is Professor Guillem Lopez Casanovas and our founder, Ginés González Garcia. This is Vicente and the students. This is Tarragona. This is the boss, Dr. Atzera. This is the hospitals and something else. Well, when we went to Washington like 4 or 5 times in the last 10 years, and usually what we do when we go to the city of Washington, we have 2 things. One, we talk with people which are representative of the United States health system. In 2015, we managed to get a whole day at Georgetown University at the School of Public Policy and discuss about the Affordable Care Act. It was a little more political than a little more political approach than yesterday, when Randy and some other people talk about it. But it was really very interesting. And then the other 4 days, we work at PAHO and the Pan American Health Organization, the World Bank, and the World Bank. What we discussed at PAHO was how was going the management of the FDA, the fast track for the new drugs, and then crucial topics for Latin America, like the health technology assessment and the health technology agencies. Actually, PAHO is doing a review in all the network of the health technology agencies in Latin America. And then another key issue in Latin America is also the benefit packages. How do you develop benefit packages for the population? And so the government makes the surveillance that all the insurance company at least provide these minimum health packages for the population. So once again, we did it in this way. We see first the authorities of the health system. So we stepped by in 2015 at the World Bank and at PAHO and the IDB. And in a previous trip in 2004, a long time ago, we managed to get an interview with the lady who was the Secretary of Health, actually the Deputy Officer of Health. In macroeconomic topics, we have a look at Medicare and Veteran Health Administration in previous year. In macroeconomics, we discussed the Food and Drug Agency last year, 2015. And in very microeconomics, we also visit the university hospital, the George Washington University Hospital. Each time we do this kind of trip, it's very interesting because the students want to go to see the hospitals and touch the field, what we talk in Spanish, touch the field. So they really go there and try to get everywhere, and it's a mess to coordinate them because suddenly they get into the operation room and stuff like that, and we have to do a lot of control of this guy. Okay, so these were the presentations. Adam Waxat and Tanya Dimitrenko presenting the evolution of the universal health coverage in America Latina at the World Bank, and Ferdinando Regalia talked about the social and health programs of the IDB in Argentina, in a very nice project from Mesoamerica, which is funded by the Bill Gates Foundation in Spain and the IDB Bank, with a lot of incentives inside the program. So in 7 countries are competing for the funds, and they are measured in base of their results in terms of health. So there is a lot of new tools of health economics doing in this kind of projects. Well, this is our best picture, but this is just Georgetown University, and well, I'm gonna make any comments about everyone in the picture because it's too long. This is Professor Adam Waxat and Tanya, and this is our final picture at Pajo when we were leaving. I really appreciate to be here, and thanks to Professor Alan Goodman. And I think the most part of the presentation is to try to figure out which are the contributions for the graduate students to do this kind of journey. And basically what we find out is that the students get very much motivated to see new experience in new countries and figure out which is the best way to solve, for example, subjects related with risk adjustment, payments, and incentives, and how do you regulate insurance company, which, for example, in our country is quite an issue. And finally, for the students, which are in the process of producing the thesis, most of the people that come to our trips or journeys really finish the thesis in time and are motivated, highly motivated to complete their academic work. For the teaching staff, we usually go 2 or 3 professors. This is also highly motivating, and you find that the people start to think about writing new articles or doing some research or stuff to get him more enthusiastic about the academic work. From the point of view of the master course, one of the key issues for me is that we are all the time discussing and actualizing our contents. So this year in Spain, we are planning to have 2 visits to hospitals. We are going to discuss with the Ministry of Health in Madrid about how do they deal with the new pharma products, and we are discussing a lot of public health subjects. For example, all the issue about traffic accidents, which is a growing epidemic in South America, and a lot of young people get hurt or die in this kind of accident. All the issue about transplants, all the issue about drugs. Well, for us, Spain is a sort of reference country which has performed very well in subjects like safety, traffic safety, and transplant, and are in the better places of Europe as a model. And the second one is that as a master course and as a university, we have a lot of interchange, and every year when we go there, we get professors to come down to Argentina, which then probably they get some academic grants or prize premium. So there is a very fluent contract. Well, there are some issues here about macroeconomic topics and microeconomic topics that I will send to you. And finally, this is what we are developing now, sort of old development of Ingo Vogelsen. Yep. Ingo Vogelsen, Leroy Jones, and Pankaj Tandon, which was an approach from institutional economics about how do you map every country where you go. And here is always our well-known market factors: supply, demand, market structure, conduct, performance. And on the other hand, the institutional factors, which are the government objectives, the objectives of interest groups, and the objectives of management and personnel. So many times when we go to the country, we, like in Mexico, we see that there is a new law, or in Chile, we see that there is a new law developed, but then when it goes to the parliament, it's being reduced and be modified because of all these institutional factors, that when we analyze only by the market or from a very close economic point of view, these are not considered. So we always try to have this kind of span of seeing market factors and institutional factors. So that's our comment, and those were the contribution of our academic workshop, International Academic.
Questions, please.
Yeah.
How did you get the connections with the hospitals to get that kind of?
We do not use Facebook. Actually, our university is relatively, it has something like 26 years old, and most of the professors are very much connected with Spain and with the US. So, for example, some of our professors teach in those hospitals, so that's the Spanish connection we can classify for the CIA. And then we have another issue with the US, that many of our professors worked at Bajo. So one of them was the 5th managers during 5 or 6 years. So we have a lot, as a university, even small, we have a lot of relationship with different countries. Sometimes they come to Argentina and the authorities decided to provide them a sort of honorific title, and that makes a sort of networking. I mean, the secret for us is, similar to what you presented before, to really work on that networking, but that will take quite a long time. I mean, sometimes you prepare a trip, a journey, or this kind of international workshop, it will take you at least 2 or 3 years to finish and run that. And many times you have everything ready and something falls down, so you always need to have a sort of plan B, alternatives to every journey, I mean, to every day of the journey, no? Usually we leave the students 2 or 3 tips if they are useful for you. One is that we usually meet on Sunday before the week starts. And usually you need to leave the students, these master course students, free at least twice in the week. Because if not, they will take their holiday the same. So it's better to agree on that. And usually we close the week on Tuesday night. So Friday, it's optative. Whoever wants comes and the other will not. But for example, it was a battle in Rio de Janeiro. We tried to put 45 people on a bus in front of Ipanema. We watched completely crazy. I really make a lot of discussion inside the university, but they put me the hotel in Ipanema, and we have to take a bus and go 50 minutes to a place which was Instituto Fiocruz, a thinking tank of the Ministry of Health, 45 minutes away. So I have to fight and discuss a lot of trouble because nobody want to get into the bus in front of the beach. You know? So the places where you go have to be ugly, basically, rainy, and the best thing to do is to go to the university or the hospital.
Thank you so much.
Okay.